is the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington.
Marion Fowler is home. She has been forced to ask some questions of herself, and she has found some vague but frightening answers. Answers that are driving her to a conclusion she has spent her entire life avoiding. But the house isn't as empty or as safe as she had expected.
John?
There you are.
You're home early. Something happened?
Well, the same thing that's happened to sailors since the beginning of time, the weather. It's good to be home. Can I get you a drink?
Yes.
Well, it's really something out there. Squalls, 15-foot waves. Much too much like work. I didn't get a chance to read more than 3 words at any one sitting. So I thought I might as well come back here and sit and read without being thrown halfway across the room every time I came to a nice, juicy murder. Well, what about you, Marion? What have you been doing with yourself?
Me? Nothing.
How's your cold?
It's settled down to an occasional sneeze.
You taking anything for it?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I just came from the drugstore.
Well, you still look a little pale. Maybe it'd be a good idea if you lay down for a while.
No, I feel... John, what are we doing?
I thought we were discussing your health.
No, we were discussing my lie. I don't have a cold, and we both know it. We always do this. We talk in circles and end up nowhere.
Is there some place specific you want to go, Marion?
Don't be so civilized. Your wife lies to you, and you act as though it happens every day. The weather's been fine.
All right, the weather's been fine everywhere, Marion. Just calm down.
Palm since the day I was born. Do you remember the night your cousin Lowell introduced us?
Well, what does that have to do with anything?
Everything. That night has been our whole life. I didn't realize it until... That night, I felt as though I'd known you all my life. Everything you said and did was so familiar to me.
Is that so wrong? 2 people knowing each other completely?
Yes. Not all at once. There should be some surprise, delight. I'm not blaming you. It's what I wanted. It's what I thought I wanted. Until...
Until what?
The hospital meant a great deal to me. The children. They were so alive.
We can have children. There's nothing wrong with you.
Even in defeat and death, they were alive, and they made me feel alive.
Marion, what are you talking about?
John, I've got to tell you what's happened. I should have told you then, but I was afraid.
Afraid of what?
Afraid I would hurt you. couldn't help myself. I needed something.
Marion.
There was a man. Don't ask me to explain him. He was different. I went to him.
Get out. Right now. Go to Boston. Stay with your sister. Later we'll talk about who files for divorce. Calmly, civilized. When I come back, I want you out of here.
John, please let me stop.
Hit and runs are hard to crack, Mr. Carson. I'm sorry, but we haven't found a thing worth raising your eyebrow at. These are the reports we get from all the gas stations and the body repair shops in the area. Now, they're required to have the car owner fill these questionnaires out before they fix the car. See, now, if it looks like a good lead, why, we go out and talk to them, but that's about all we can do.
How many people have you talked to?
Well, dozens.
How many more are there?
There's only a couple. Nothing hot.
You mind if I take a look at it?
I'm afraid he couldn't do that.
Look, Sergeant, if you go all through the active reports, if you go through all the reports you have, and you still don't come up with a suspect, what then?
We widen the search area, contact the police in Hennings and Britton County, and go over the reports again. Carson, I don't think anybody would mind if you look through the dead file. At least you can see what kind of questions we're asking.
Hey, Sergeant.
Yeah.
The Mr. Burry said he ran into a fire plug. Now, how can you be sure of that? Did you check it?
Well, if there's a clue that they're lying, and there's always some kind of a clue, we have the lab boys check out the paint samples. The filling stations won't fix the dents until they get an okay from us.
Elliot?
Oh, John? Mrs. Fowler. I have Mrs. Fowler's report on that fender straightened out with Al, if you care to check it over. Well, it's an expensive lady you're married to.
Sergeant, what are you doing on the hit-and-run case?
Well, everything I can, sir.
Results. What about results? How long has it been? Long enough for my wife to run the car into the garage, to get the car fixed, repainted, and back again, and they had to send to Boston for a part.
Mr. Fowler, I'm doing everything
Mr. Carson has every right in the world to know what leads you've got and what you're doing about them. Let me see your file. Come on, now! Is this all there is?
Mr. Carson has the dead file.
Well, what's that?
The report on your car. Put it in there alphabetically, please.
Come into my office, Elliot.
What hit him? Never seen him act like that before.
I don't know.
Hadn't you better start getting ready?
Just have to put my dress on.
Where's Stephen taking you?
I don't know, the inn probably.
Thought maybe it was someplace special. You haven't looked so excited since you had your first tooth pulled.
Mother, I thought you were the one person I didn't have to act with. I see Rodney every day at the hospital when he comes to visit Allison, and he seems so, I don't know.
You can't help Laura, Betty. Every door you open for him is a door to the past, and he needs a future. And so should you.
Is this the way you're looking? Why? Why do you have to visit Daddy tomorrow?
He's my husband.
He probably won't even recognize you.
He can't help that. Look, Betty, you have a choice. I don't.
Stephen's early.
Hello, Benny.
Mr. Harrington?
Oh, Julie, may I come in?
Of course, Les.
I know I shouldn't barge in like this. Discretion may be the better part of valor, but I found it never gets you past the waiting room.
Excuse me while I change.
That was hardly a warm welcome, but I guess I've earned it.
What do you want, Les?
You ask me that each time I see you. I've come to take you out for that drink. When someone says perhaps to me, I take it to mean yes.
You know, you would have been your own best salesman.
I'd like to take you out to dinner, too, but I promised Rodney and Norman we'd go to Boston on the theater.
Les, I don't think I better go out.
For a harmless drink. Is this the way it's going to be, Julie?
I have some sherry.
Why? How do I start, Julie? Where do I begin?
Please, Les.
I have to know where I stand.
Would you pour? Oh, yes, Mr. Schuster. No, I hadn't started dinner yet. Oh, wait a minute. Wait till I get rid of that. Yes. Yes, Howard Cable, Bates and Davis. Yes, he'll be in tomorrow. Will he be traveling alone? All right, I'll get a single for him at the inn. He'll need transportation to the mill, and I'll put an office aside for him. No problem at all. Good night.
Bates and Davis, Chicago. Specialists in retooling for automation. Then Peyton must have given the go-ahead to automate the mill, right? Still the soul of loyalty and discretion. I'll never find anyone like you again, Julie. What an asset you must be to your mild-mannered Mr. Schuster.
Mr. Schuster is not so mild.
Mild and vulnerable.
Why vulnerable? Martin Peyton gave his approval.
Then am I right in assuming that he gave it grudgingly?
Oh, Les, why bother? Look, Mr. Schuster took the initiative, and he scored the victory.
Leaving himself wide open for a Peyton specialty, the rabbit punch.
I'm sure he must be aware of the risks.
You admire him, don't you? You like men who are fighters. Most real women do. Now, Julie, Martin Peyton accused me of being stupid, a bungler who'd run the mill into the ground. Is that what you believe?
No. No, I think you had plans for the mill.
Oh, I had plans. If things had turned out differently, nothing would have stopped me. Not lack of money or stock or Martin Peyton, nothing. But that was yesterday. Now I have to be concerned with today and tomorrow.
You never told me about any plans. You never really trusted anybody, did you, Les? Even your reason for coming here tonight, it had to be all wrapped up in a friendly drink.
I'm sorry, Julie. I can't change. Perhaps we'd both be better off if we accept that.
So you're still here.
Hello, Michael.
So how do you feel?
I feel perfectly all right. Now stop worrying about me.
Does Elliot know you're here?
I'm sure he does.
Does he know how long you've been here today?
I'm sure he does.
Connie, listen to me. Allison is going to improve when she's ready, whether you're exhausted or not. Now, you have an obligation to another child.
I know.
And you go home now and you get yourself some rest. Huh?
I can't leave.
What is it? Mike, please.
There's movement. There's a definite movement in the eye.
Can't you see?
No. But the movement is there. It's random. There's no focus or direction. But there is a definite movement.
Well, that's good news, isn't it?
Yes, now these things take time, but this is the first sign that we have that there's going to be hope, improvement in the nervous system.
If she keeps on improving, well, how long before she's conscious?
Well, days or a week or more. Still, it is a beginning.
Somehow I expected something more. I mean, something more than just this.
I know, Connie.
But you're right. It is a beginning. It's more than a beginning. It's the beginning. Well, I'll tell Elliot.
Connie, when you tell him, make sure you tell him what I said, not what you're saying now.
That it's the first step.
Yes, it is. The first step, a beginning. But sometimes these things can take a reverse, and still there is hope.
No lights?
Unfortunately, plenty of lights. I just want to dump my attaché case in my desk and lock up.
Fair enough. Good heavens. Never seen your office before.
Not much to see.
You really need all this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Every day? Can't you store some of it somewhere else? Hmm? Would you like me to wait outside?
Uh-uh.
All right. The chair is full of very dusty books.
So it is.
How can you ever manage to find anything in all this chaos?
Lady, how can you call one of the most complete law libraries in Peyton County chaos? This'll just take me a minute.
If I keep still and quiet.
You do anything you want to do. It won't bother me.
That was dreadfully rude of you, Stephen Cord.
Congratulations. You are bothering me. I used to be able to concentrate through anything. Now get out of here before I spank you.
Fine date you are.
There's a room out there. It's called a waiting room. Wait.
Patiently?
I don't want ask the impossible.
When is going to be your office? Windows in the plural? Comfortable chairs in the plural, plenty of space. I'd take it if I were you.
You want a lot, don't you, Betty?
I guess I do.
When I finished Harvard Law, Mr. Peyton wrote me a letter. The only one he ever wrote me. Trust only ambitious men. If they respect you, they will not deceive you. If they do not respect you, you deserve to be deceived. To you, ambitious girl.
Mr. Dahl deserved to be deceived? I heard he resigned from the case. Congratulations.
What for?
For easing him out so quickly?
I had nothing to do with his resigning.
Oh, come on, Stephen. I know you better than that.
Do you?
Don't I? Why did he resign?
He's not a criminal lawyer.
He's not an ambitious man. You don't have to cover Stephen.
I don't know why I didn't want him to resign, but I didn't.
Because now you can afford to feel sorry for him. It's cruel. Stephen, it's like turning a turtle on its back and then stepping on him.
Now, you can stop that. I'm not a liar, and I don't like being called one. You're the one who's playing dirty, not me. Just as ambitious as I am, but you're not doing a thing about it. That makes you feel guilty. That makes you accuse me of doing things you never dared to do. Betty, I like you. I respect you. I'm honest with you. That's the way I operate. But I'll not put up with endless accusations, so you aim your gun at somebody else or... I moved to strike that last threat from the record on the grounds that it's groundless.
Motion granted. I feel a little strange.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
Stella Chernock lied. And if she continues to lie, I could be found guilty unless I can get her to admit she lied.
Stella's personnel records, have you looked at them? Betty, as long as Stella's background remains in a file drawer, Rodney's in trouble.
I am not going to do it.
And I will. If you don't, I'm going to follow, and I'll tell them.